backups and RTO and RPO. So recovery time objective and recovery point objective. If you don't know what those are, we'll cover that on the next slide. But first off, do your backups meet those requirements? Recovery time is how long it's going to take to get you back online, and recovery point is at what point are you going to get the data, or where is there data loss? And what are your requirements? Do you know? And then after that, have your backups been restored, tested, and verified? That's important. A lot of people I talk to after they've had a problem, well, gee, we thought we had backups, they were running, but they weren't backing up what they thought they were backing up. Okay, so RPO and RTO, the first half of it is recovery point objective. These are important terms when you're talking about backup, so you can have a standardized system for making sure everyone's on the same page, from the people doing the work all the way up to the business owners. Oftentimes, if you go to your company leadership, whether it's the owner or president or people like that, and explain or ask the question of how much data is it okay to lose in a catastrophic failure? Well, there's a balance there. I mean, of course, the answer is always going to be as close to zero as possible. No, we don't want to lose any. But the reality is there's always a chance you're going to lose something. And the smaller that recovery point gets, or the smaller the data loss window is, the more expensive it gets to be. Now, we can get that pretty small without too much expense, but if you really want it to be at zero, that can be more expensive. So the recovery point is at the time a system failure happened. You're going back in time and looking at when's the last thing that you can recover to. If you have daily full backups that run at 11 p.m. every night, and that's your only backups, and your system fails at 3 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, you're going to lose 16 hours of data. So all of today's data all the way back to last night if you have to recover from that backup. If your recovery point objective is 16 hours of data loss is okay, well, a nightly backup might do it in that case. Okay, then we have recovery time objective. Recovery time objective covers how long is it going to take from when somebody is told that the system is down until we can get it up and running again. How much time is it going to take to recover? In the example with the client that we just worked with, our recovery point, we were able to get them back within 15 minutes of where the system failed. The recovery time, and the first time through it took 2 to 2.5 hours. But after finishing the process and getting it all set up, they're now at a point where their recovery point is less than a minute, and the recovery time is less than 10 minutes. So they're now in a much better place than they've ever been before. And we're there to help, but also we're training them so that they can recover if they need to. So understanding your recovery point objective and your recovery time objective is important, and it's important to communicate with management. What if your management thinks that you have a very different recovery point objective than you actually do? What if they think that you have a different recovery time objective than they do? Well, it's good to have these conversations now before there's any data loss, rather than after the data loss occurs, because there's nothing you can do to fix it later. I was at a conference, and one time they were talking about this joke, DBA joke. They said, as a database administrator, you either need to have good backups or a really good resume. Meaning, hit the road, get a new job, but you just pick one. And we like to make sure that we have good backups and we have a good resume. That way, a solid DBA will make sure that they have both. But I don't know, there's an expression, you had one job to do, and I think one of the most important jobs of a database administrator is to make sure that you have the right backups to recover in the event of a failure. And a lot of people don't take it as seriously as we do. Not everyone thinks this way. I think, what do we call that? A resume generating event when things go bad. Hopefully it doesn't come to that.